Yeah, I remember they did right now.
The best practice.
All right, let's go. Vickers, Ron, you want to do the pledge? Okay. Y'all ready?
Hey, this is.
Okay, I call this regular meeting of the Luray Town Council to be now in session. Will you all stand and join me for a moment of silence, please? I'll call on Councilman Vickers to lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Danielle, will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Duffy.
Here.
Mr. Vickers.
Here.
Ms. Lillard.
Here.
Mr. Shiro.
Here.
Mr. Pettit.
Here.
Mr. Sowers.
Here.
And Mr. Webb.
Here.
Thank you, Danielle. Are there any additions to or deletions from the agenda? Hearing none. Mr. Vickers, are you ready with the consent agenda?
Well, Mayor, I'd like to move to approve the following consent agenda. The minutes of the regular council meeting on January 10th, 2022. The minutes of the special meeting, January 25th, 2022. The financial reports ending January 31st, 2022. Acceptance of $15,000 private contribution to the purchase of patrol officers and accounts payable totaling $256,048.42.
Seconded.
Discussion?
It's patrol rifles.
What did he say?
Rifles. Officers.
We bought some officers? What did you
I think it's officers.
I read it too fast. I'm sorry.
Lay off of it. Yeah, lay off of it. All right, no discussion other than that? Okay. Danielle?
Mr. Vickers.
Yes.
Ms. Lillard.
Yes.
Mr. Shiro.
Yes.
Mr. Pettit.
Yes.
Mr. Sowers.
Yes.
And Mr. Webb.
Yes.
All right, general citizen comments. Annette, it looks like you signed and then marked through. Is that you changed your mind or?
No, that, yeah.
Okay.
Do I have to interrupt?
Yes, if you would, thank you.
I don't do this sort of thing.
And if you would, give us your name and address for our records.
Well, my name is Annette St. Clair. My address for today is 606 East Main Street, Mrs. B's Pizza. And I caught wind that you're planning or considering raising the food tax for the town. Of course, I don't want to see that happen. I live in this town, have my whole life. I made $248,000 for 2021. I profited just over $10,000. I pay this town thousands of dollars a year in food tax already. I pay the state, the federal government, and on and on and on. And recent snows, town comes through and pushes snow right up into my lot. But they scoop it off the sidewalks downtown. I even called and asked if anything could be done. Nothing, not even a call back. I got a beef with that. If I charge my customers more, I'm going to have to raise my prices so I can keep paying higher prices because our food cost is already, if not doubled, 60%. Minimum wage took a big hike. That means all my taxes go up with that. It's not just the wage, it's everything else that goes along with it. And when you look at the bigger picture, I mean, I've done this my entire life, born and raised right here in Luray. It's been in my family for close to 40 years. You got to find other ways. I mean, it's just, don't get me wrong. In my opinion, there's lots of other ways where we could raise things. You got tobaccos, vapes, Are they even taxed? You got all this CBD and God forbid the weed that's going to be coming in here soon. Come up for a tax with that. Because God knows they're going to sell a lot of it. You know, you've got other things, lodging. You got tourists, okay? Why does it always have to hit the small business first? I go out to eat in this town, so not only am I charging my customers and I'm having to pay it, I'm then double paying it when I want to go out and enjoy myself. Something everybody does is eat. I understand that. And it's an easy way to get money. But there's other ways. And I definitely think there's other things you can look into to get to that. Other than let's just, oh, it's easy, it's fast money, here we go. No, it's not. It affects everyone that lives here. And that's me. That's all.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you. Whoever else signed up, I absolutely cannot read your name. Who else signed up?
That's for the public hearing, but he didn't sign up for that either.
Huh? So this is it? No other citizen comments? Okay. All right. All right, we'll move on to presentations. Ms. Elliott, always a pleasure to have you.
Mr. Mayor, Council, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day, Jerry, wherever you are. Just a couple of real quick notes. First of all, I want to send out a special thank you to Ashley and Danielle. We completed our annual report for Virginia Main Street. It was submitted January the 25th. And I just want to thank them for helping supply me with data that I would have no way been able to have come out with without their help, because they are requiring a great deal of information that they're compiling, though, and that's to better help us building our main streets in the future. So we've got all that completed and submitted, and our comprehensive plan has been submitted, and we've had a few setbacks where I was out sick. I've had a couple board members out sick, so we are finalizing the last little bit of our budget, and we'll have those numbers ready. And once that happens, I'll see that gets into your packets, just so that you have it for your information for in the future. Mardi Gras will be February 5th. That's going to be an all-day event. So our businesses are going to follow the same suit that they have in the past. They're going to be doing special discounts, some fun things with beads. The Page Valley Arts Council, the Art Warehouse folks, they're going to be having a Mardi Gras event going on all day. They're going to be having crafts for kids and things like that. So it looks like March 5th.
March 5th.
Yes, sir. And then the only other thing I have, Alcovia Mortgage at 10 a.m. on the 16th will be having their ribbon cutting. If, for those of you who might not be aware, they have moved in next to Liberty Tax. So we're excited to have them as part of our Main Street family now. So if you guys can come and support that, that would be terrific. And that's it.
Jackie, what time are things kicking off for Mardi Gras?
It's going to probably kick off around 10 a.m. when the businesses get opened up. And then they're going to be doing special promotions and that type of thing.
Great.
Yeah,
Any questions for Ms. Elliott? Thank you for being here.
thanks.
All right, moving on, we have a public hearing for item, 7A, rezoning of the split zone parcels. Those are listed in your packet. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the zonings a long time ago, May 12, 2021, and we're just getting around to it. Is that right, Steve? I mean,
Yes, sir. Actually, one of the items on your regular agenda, the Planning Commission report, in preparation of that report, we did an assessment of everything that the Planning Commission did and the outcome, and this was one of the items that for one reason or another, it got lost. Unfortunately, June was about the time we were doing the budget, so I assumed that we actually had advertised this public hearing in the paper, and for one reason or another, it never got around to council's consideration. But we have re-advertised everything. All of the property owners are still interested in the single zoning for their properties, and we're hoping that council will consider this following your public hearing.
And this does meet all the property owners' needs, and it avoids spot zoning, I presume?
Correct. Again, the lots had both zonings on them. And working with each individual property owner, Brian was able to come to their desired rezoning of that property. So this wasn't the town exerting any influence, it was simply, it makes it easier for them, insurance-wise and a few other issues, to have a single zoning on the property. And so they indicated to the town that this is what they would prefer, and this will simplify our zoning maps and just make it easier for any future consideration of usage on those properties.
Sounds good.
Steve, how does the split zoning come about?
Unfortunately, in the development of our zoning map, simply lines were drawn without
Looking at
regard
the
to parcel, and it doesn't really affect many. I think all totaled, when we started, there were maybe 60 or 70.
65.
Yep. And by removing these, we'll get it down to 50, and we're hoping that in the future, someone will come into us and say, what do I do with this? And we can, we notified all the property owners. These were the only few that responded to us to
Right, so
to
I don't
resolve it.
understand, what's it matter if somebody has two different zones?
Well, what it can potentially impact, and it's our understanding that if you're getting a loan, a bank wants the property to have a single zoning,
Okay.
and it may delay your your approval for
Right,
a
okay,
loan
I
on the
understand.
property. And then from the town's perspective, if you have two different zonings on a parcel, an R1 and a B1, and you wanted to expand your home, well, and the B1 was where you wanted to expand it, right now, construction of a new single-family dwelling requires a special use permit in the B1, so it could complicate what you were looking to do with your
So all
property.
these 16 are volunteers,
Absolutely.
got it.
Anybody else? Do we need a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move that town.
No, public hearing.
Absolutely.
Open.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I'll open the public hearing.
Public.
I don't, so the gentleman here did not, Brian, he decided not to speak? Okay.
No.
All right. Anyone here tonight want to speak on this rezoning? Mr. Burke, you have any emails, phone calls,
No, sir.
letters, anything?
Again, everyone involved was supportive and did a voluntary request to have this rezoning occur, and we received no
Right.
comments.
All right, hearing nothing, I will close the public hearing. Now we need a motion.
I move the town council approve the rezoning of the 16 split zone parcels as presented.
Second.
Need more discussion? Danielle?
Ms. Lillard?
Yes.
Mr. Gyro?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
And Mr. Vickers?
Yes,
All right, Mr. Burke, renaming North Alley.
Yes, sir. Following your discussion at the January 25th work session, staff proposed to the county renaming the Section 1 Lancaster Lane, the Section 2 North Alley, and removing any street name designation from Section 3. The county would prefer a different name than North Alley, but they did acquiesce and said that if that is council's desire, they can go along with that because there is no other North Alley in the county.
All right, any questions, discussion?
I'll make a motion that we go with the recommended name change, keeping North Alley, and just removing the designation from Section 3 as shown on that map.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion?
we do want to rename Section 1 as Lancaster Lane though, right?
Yes.
It's okay.
Anybody else? Danielle?
Mr. Vickers?
Yes,
Mrs. Lillard?
Yes.
Mr. Gyro?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes.
And Mr. Webb?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Burke, Code Amendment, Chapter 74, Article 4E, 911 addressing.
Yes, sir. As part of your, as part of the staff's process of updating the name to North Alley, the town attorney developed some recommended changes to Chapter 74 to better align the numbering and naming to the county's 911 code section. The proposed amendments are in front of you. They don't require a public hearing. And as a result, there will also need to be reconsideration of section 402.8 of the subdivision code, and staff would request that that would be recommended to the Planning Commission for consideration of amendment.
There's a lot of good information in there.
Yes, sir.
You ready for a motion?
Any discussion on that? Any questions?
I move that town council approves the code amendment to chapter 74, article 4, E91, addressing as presented. I further move to refer development of a code amendment to appendix B subdivision, section 402.8 to the planning commission.
Second.
Discussion? Danielle?
Ms. Lillard?
Yes.
Mr. Gyro?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
And Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Burke, the Planning Commission Annual Report 2021.
Yes, sir. Each year, the Planning Commission is required by state code to provide the council with an update on the actions that the Planning Commission undertook in the previous year. Our Planning Commission has developed the report that is presented to y'all. They approved it at their January meeting and request consideration of and acceptance by the town council.
I like the graphics in it, I'll say that.
Yeah, good, it's a good report.
What, are we still, what are we doing zoning clearance for? I know we don't do it for the mechanical permits.
For fencing, for roofing, and for business licenses.
Okay.
That
For a
doesn't need-
motion?
That doesn't need to be approved, does it?
I'm sorry?
Does that need to be approved?
Well, it needs to be approved and accepted by town
Oh,
council,
okay,
yes, sir.
okay. All right, yeah, motion, Joey.
Sure, I move the town council approve the 2021 Planning Commission Annual Report as presented.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? Danielle?
Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
Ms. Lillard?
Yes.
Mr. Gyro?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Burke, sketch plat, Reservoir Road.
Yes, sir. The sketch plat that was submitted and reviewed by town council at your January work session, council had requested that the developers provide an additional sketch of the full build-out, as well as a sketch that would include a rear access to the properties. Those two have been provided to you as part of their additional submission for this sketch plat.
There's another map of phase 2 and 3.
There is for the
which
second
we
phase,
asked
yes, sir.
about, yeah.
And that would be the total build, I'm sorry, Ron.
Are the things, is that a road on the left, or is it just a
It's
right?
proposed right-of-way, there.
A driveway?
No, a right-of-way. It would,
Right-of-way.
may not be a dedicated road, but it would be access so that you could go the length of the parcels.
So phase 2 is the front of the property facing down towards Reservoir?
Phase 1 is the part adjacent to it. Phase 2 would be the lots that,
But what's the front of the houses on phase 2?
they would be that road there that separates that from Phase 2 and Phase 3.
All right, so that road doesn't have a name or anything yet, does it?
Correct. The sketch plat is simply the opportunity for an applicant to test to see if there's any specific conditions or concerns that the council would have if they proceed and invest money into doing the subdivision plans. So this is simply a high-level review of council to provide to the developer any concerns that y'all might have. Now, one of the things that I should note, there is a line between lot that has the 3 in it and then
Yes.
the lot that has the Phase 2S. That is the town-county boundary, so before they would proceed with the submission of the entire subdivision, there would need to be discussion with the county of a possible boundary
Incorporating
adjustment.
some of the phase 3 into the town borders.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That makes sense.
So it's my understanding that the developers plan to submit the Phase 1 subdivision plan upon approval from council of the sketch plat.
So I see in the first drawing, and it shows gravel road for the illustration. If they get proceed to phase 2, 3, what's the access for those other properties? I know that there's the proposed 50-foot row, but what finish will that have? Or have they gotten that far?
I don't believe they've gotten that far. That would have to be determined at the subdivision, and I believe that we would require that to be a paved road.
Okay, because that's where I'm going with it, because I see the gravel, and that makes sense initially, just to get to the back of your property, but, okay.
It's probably going to also serve as some access point with during construction and everything as far as that building goes on in development of the front part. The proposed right-of-way on, the 50-foot right-of-way on both sides, you know, the side to the right, which the reservoir is pretty much a straight shot there. When it connects up here at Fairview Reservoir, when it, in that turn, is that meeting any VDOT requirements or whatever, site distance, everything good there,
Good
that's
question.
acceptable?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good, good question.
Yeah.
So that little dark area there is, until an actual survey is done, a field survey is done by the developers, there's a little bit of a gray area right there. Nobody's really sure, the church is not really sure, the county's not really sure, we're not really sure about where those points are. So that will be an important little piece, that little triangle there, to be, figure that out in the survey. But yeah, as far as site distance goes, Jason, they've got plenty. From that turn, you can see all the way up to almost Mount View, and then definitely all the way back toward town.
Good. That's all I had.
I just guess all that would be paved, even the side streets at some point. And,
To meet secondary street standards, phases 2 and 3 would require a paved VDOT style access point.
But I know we could talk about the timing of that. I know, you know, over in the Boomfield, Mr. Caves, you know, he sort of started it, and as long as you had some sort of agreement after a certain amount of lots, they would, you know, pave a certain amount or whatever.
Right. And then, like Stephen mentioned, you know, once they submit a full set of plans for either phase 2 or phase 3, and then there's potential boundary line adjustment required, at that point, that would be a good time for the council to talk about things like, you know, secondary street standard, you know, access through the entire middle of the property, things like that.
How many lots is this total?
Potentially 36.
12, yeah.
This might be a dumb question, will the county be more than likely to let them change the boundary line of phase 3?
Up till now, every time that there's been a discussion with them about an adjustment for development, the county has been fairly receptive
Okay.
to making that happen. They do recognize that, and they have stated to the town, to all three of the towns, that development, denser development around the towns makes more sense than just spot
Yeah.
development within the county.
I think we have the developers here. Would you all like to say anything? Okay. Thank y'all for being here.
Appreciate your investment in Luray.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, any more discussion? Okay.
Motion.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion. I move the town council approve and accept the dedication of a 10-foot access and utility easement from Edward and Anita Faye
Oh.
Baker.
Wait, there's one wrong
Well,
one. It's,
There you go.
Oh, I have the
yeah.
utility easement.
Well, you can do that one in a
There we
minute.
go. I'm right below it. There we go. I move that the town council approve the sketch plat for parcel 42A 12-A-101 as presented.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? Danielle?
Ms. Lillard?
Yes.
Mr. Gyro?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Burke, item E, sanitary sewer and access easement acceptance.
Yes, sir. Brian and the town have been working to obtain a sanitary, access and sewer easement to facilitate some future development between Main Street and, oh golly,
Nichols Road.
Nichols Road. and the owners of the property have been willing to provide that easement. They actually submitted the signed version today, so if council does consider this, that final, when the Bakers are able, that can be removed from your motion because it has been submitted.
Any discussion on that? No, Jason, you want to do that?
Regular discussion.
roll. There you go.
Yeah.
I move the town council approve and accept the dedication of a 10-foot access and utility easement from Edward and Anita Faye Baker on parcel 42A6-1-45 as presented. And I further move to authorize the town manager to execute the easement.
Seconded.
Discussion? Danielle?
Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
Ms. Lillard?
Yes.
Mr. Gyro?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Burke, Dean Park concession contract extension.
Yes, sir. The Little League has requested a second one-year extension of the concession contract for them to provide concession services at Dean Park. Staff has reviewed this and agrees with the requested extension. The contract that we have allows for a third one-year extension if they are willing to do that next year.
Any discussion on that?
Mr. Mayor, I have a motion.
Okay.
I move that the town council approve the second one-year extension of the Dean Park concessions contract to the Luray Little League as presented, and further authorize the town manager to execute the contract extension.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that? Danielle?
Ms. Lillard?
Yes.
Mr. Gyro?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Burke, you're still up. Dean Park field use equipment and maintenance resolution.
Yes, sir. Council's requested to consider an updated version of the Dean Park Field Use and Maintenance Agreement with the Luray Little League. There have been some minor revisions to the agreement based on input from the park superintendent, basically indicating that the town and the Little League have been doing sharing some of the weeding and infield responsibilities, as well as specifying that requirements for some of the repairs are only after the Little League has events, and if there are events that the town is responsible for, we will maintain following those events.
Are there any issues with liability or anything with them using some of the equipment?
No, sir, that's part of what this agreement sets out.
I mean, I see some of the things it says, but
We've not had any to date, and the individuals with the Little League have been very professional and have used the equipment as intended.
Okay.
And that's what, I believe our superintendent does have confidence that will continue.
Is this our second or third year with that, or second year?
I believe it's
Third
the
year?
second year that we've
Okay.
had this agreement with them,
Okay.
I believe, yes, sir.
Any other discussion? Anybody want to make a motion?
move the town council approve the field use equipment and maintenance agreement between the town and Luray Little League as presented, and further authorize the town manager to execute the agreement.
Second.
Discussion? Danielle?
Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
Ms. Lillard?
Yes.
Mr. Gyro?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Burke, VDOT Project Administration Blanket Agreement.
Yes, sir. Council's requested to approve a blanket agreement resolution that allows us to not have to bring any agreements for projects that council has authorized the town to enter into with VDOT. It allows us to simply sign those agreements if there's changes or whatnot that don't affect the finances of of any of these projects. It simply reduces the need to come back to y'all for approval.
Any
And-
questions for Mr. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, the council had previously endorsed this in 2016, and there's been some minor changes that VDOT would requested an updated resolution.
Questions for Mr. Burke on this?
Well, if this takes away extra paperwork, I think it makes sense.
Is that a motion, Ron?
I move the town council approves the VDOT project administrative blanket resolution as presented.
Second.
Discussion? Danielle?
Mr. Towers?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
Ms. Lillard?
Yes.
Mr. Gyro?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
2022 Christmas parade schedule. Mr. Burke?
Yes, sir. At our last work session, staff had presented council with the 2022 Christmas parade schedule that would include the parade being conducted Wednesday, December 14th at 6 p.m. with a rain date of Thursday, December 15th at 6 p.m. In addition, in discussion with the Chamber and LDI, we're also looking to do the tree lighting ceremony Friday, December 2nd at 7:30 p.m. So if council has any concerns or any other times or dates, we'd be happy to discuss that with you, but otherwise, we were just hoping to get confirmation that council's acceptable with the parade schedule.
So we had discussed specifically Wednesday the 14th?
Well, we had
Sorry,
discussed
I remember.
the second Wednesday.
know
I didn't think of it then,
We
but I was-
discussed middle of the week, I know that.
Yeah, because of churches, sometimes with youth programming on Wednesdays.
Well, we had talked about Tuesday as well, but Tuesday, that Tuesday is actually scheduled for our December Movies on Main. And so that's what led to looking at that Wednesday.
I'm not opposing it, I just kind of thought.
Okay, I agree with Stephen.
points,
I
Stephen.
think we'll get some pushback from the churches on that.
Especially since you have another social activity for youth and, well, people in general.
Yeah. I mean, if it's far enough ahead, we could change the.
Would you prefer Thursday?
Adjust that scope.
Thursday's almost the weekend, so it kind of works.
Yeah, I just don't think Wednesday's a good day.
That's not a
So
problem.
What would the rain date be, Friday then?
Yes, sir, if that's acceptable.
Except for that will work with your plans for the, oh no, I'm sorry, that was the week before, for the Christmas tree.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So if council considers that the Thursday, December 15th, the date for the parade, and the rain date of being Friday, the December 16th, both at 6 p.m.
Okay. And Mr. Burke, Luray Police Foundation. Do we need to vote on that?
If you don't mind.
I want to vote on, okay. You want to have a motion on that?
I make a motion that the Christmas parade be on Thursday, December 15th, with a rain date of Friday, December 16th.
Second.
Any discussion? Danielle?
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
Ms. Lillard?
Yes.
Mr. Gyro?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Burke.
I'm
sorry?
My calendar just said that Stanley's Christmas parade is Thursday the 15th.
Mm-mm.
Well, I don't know where I got that from.
They normally do Saturday unless they've changed it.
I'll need to check on that.
Because I don't want to do it at the same time they have their
If,
parade.
if Stanley's is that Thursday, then we will definitely bring that back to council. If there isn't, we'll confirm it either way.
Okay.
We got time.
Well, I did talk to them about how we thought it was a good idea to have it during the week. Maybe they did change theirs. It's certainly possible.
Yeah, I don't know how I got that on my calendar, but I must have put it in at some point.
I can't explain that right.
Well, we just don't want, we don't want to.
No,
Okay,
no,
yes,
we-
so
we-
we will
As
definitely-
Lincoln says, I think we have plenty of time. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Mr. Burke, the Luray Police Foundation.
Yes, sir. Council's, council is requested to consider authorizing our police chief to work with legal counsel to develop the necessary documentations to establish a nonprofit 501c3 police foundation that would assist in allowing our citizens to make tax-deductible contributions to the police department. Council approved a donation that was received recently to assist the department in obtaining rifles for their officers. The chief has been talking with the town attorney, and we would request consideration of council to allow us to establish that. A number of the neighboring communities also have police foundations that allow donations to assist in the operations.
I think I remember once, too far back, that you got donations for the second drug dog.
Yes, sir.
So this would go into the foundation so that it would
Potentially,
go for
yes,
that
sir.
only.
It would be similar to the Greenway Foundation, that individuals that are looking to make contributions towards that could make it to the foundation, and then the foundation could then make the
Who pays
contribution.
the startup cost?
It would be the town.
Okay.
Well, and I think this is a great move. It's, the challenges that we face with funding, is what we've recently discussed, and, any avenue we can pursue to help with that, I think is a good move. And I realize there's a bit of money there with the startup costs, but I think in a very short time, that'll be recouped, through a program such as this. And I believe it's also, it's far more inviting when a town has something like this, for people to donate, because it puts, well, there's that 501c3 status out there that makes it easy for the public too, so, yes, I think it's good.
All right.
Need a motion?
I do.
I move that town council authorize the chief of police to develop the Luray Police Foundation as presented.
Second that.
Discussion? Danielle?
Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
Ms. Lillard?
Yes.
Mr. Gyro?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Burke, Luray Police Department, part-time to full-time police officer.
Yes, sir. The police department's part-time detective, as we all know, has left the town. In order for the town to provide better coverage in patrol, we would request that council consider allowing us to update that position from a part-time to a full-time position. We have funding within our budget that would allow us to fund that full-time position for the remainder of this fiscal year, and then we will work with the police chief and the treasurer to continue to be able to fund that position in your future fiscal years.
I like the idea of that.
But will this position be that extra position on a night shift?
One of them, you have to add benefits, yes.
Yeah.
Daylight. Well, yeah. You're taking a daylight position, but yes, it'll help fill the night shift. You'll be the extra position, one of the extra positions.
Okay, to help that coverage on the late night bit.
63,000 of that, of what I have now from Ron's salary, and part-time, which would be Russell's, will go toward the full-time position.
Okay.
One, other than benefits.
Right. That sounds good.
Any more discussion on that?
Mayor, I'd like to move that the town council approves the conversion of the part-time police officer, the investigator position, to a full-time patrol officer position in the Luray Police Department as presented.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? Danielle?
One
Ms. Lillard?
Oh, sorry, wait.
more
Jason.
question. With that full-time patrol position, are we all right on the vehicles since
No.
are we gonna be able to?
No, we'll have two more in the budget coming up, correct. For the
Okay,
police
so-
position?
Okay, so we may have to deal with some issues at the start, but
Yes.
that will,
Yeah, we have those in the budget. So this past purchase, the last four approved by all my guys now that we have on board. And then we'll be looking to get two more for two new positions.
okay, that's the only question.
Like, do we have any idea when we're getting those, Mo? I mean, I know things are up in the air, but
We've ordered them,
No way in the.
probably July, I'd say.
That's-
June or July, probably.
okay.
But the
Okay.
last one's a year to come in, so, but I think they got that fixed now, so.
Any more discussion? All right, Danielle?
Ms. Lillard?
Yes.
Mr. Gyro?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Burke, the 22-23 budget calendar.
Yes, sir. Council's requested to review and consider approval of our FY 22-23 budget calendar.
All right, so it looks like on Wednesday, we'll see the draft budget in total. Is that right?
On
Wednesday,
Tues-
February 16th.
Well,
That's when they
the
get-
draft will be turned into the town manager from our departments, and then we will start working with the departments to identify what
And we won't
we
see
have
the
available.
presentation until the 22nd.
Well, we'll start having work sessions with y'all on the 22nd, yes, sir. The
Okay.
complete budget won't be presented until March 22nd, but we will start working with y'all about
Okay.
where we think we're at and where we need to be.
Any other questions on that discussion?
I assume we can hold additional work sessions if it's necessary.
Oh, absolutely. Again, once we reach that March 22nd date where it's been presented to y'all, we can schedule any and all meetings necessary to make sure that council is comfortable and has met with any of the departments to ensure that what has been requested is needed.
Thank you.
That's the first big hurdle, though, isn't it?
Getting it
Getting
to
that thing
y'all.
presented
It has
to
to be
us.
presented
Get that.
at balanced, and then from there, that's where we work with y'all to make sure that you're comfortable with any of the requests.
Anybody else? Ready, need a motion?
I move the town council approve the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget calendar as presented.
Second?
Any more discussion? Danielle?
Mr. Gyro?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Mr. Vickers?
Yes.
Ms. Lillard?
Yes.
Well, we're motioning left and right tonight, aren't we?
Everybody got to pull them out of y'all. Well, all right. Mr. Bodkins, anything from you?
I don't have anything this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you for being here. Any comments from the council?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Same to everyone.
Mayor, I'd like to thank Mr. Hawkins' help the other day with the TDO process. I knew I threw something on his lap really quick, and he pulled through, and we were able to be successful in our endeavors that day, which is a ask. But thanks.
I'm happy to help.
As I've found on every occasion when we call him, he is very, very good.
After he was probably my chief mayor.
Yeah, but thank you especially for that.
Certainly.
Mayor's comments, I just want to thank the whole council. Everybody was for spending a beautiful Saturday in a board retreat. I want to thank Steve and Brian also for being there. I thought we got a lot done, and I thank you all for being there. Reminder of the Alcova? I never can say. Alcova ribbon cutting Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. And happy Valentine's Day to everybody. We're adjourned.